Welcome. 2025 is a true paradise for sci-fi lovers. We've already seen some amazing premieres and more promising titles are on the horizon. From stories about AI and time travel to alien civilizations, there's something for everyone. Here's a list of the best sci-fi series of 2025, including both released and upcoming shows. Project UFO. In the 1980s, in the midst of the People's Republic of Poland, something appears that doesn't fit into any official reports. Mysterious lights over a Masurian lake. Project UFO is a 4-episode Polish miniseries that draws viewers into a world of conspiracy theories, absurdity, and dangerous manipulation. When provincial electronics engineer Zbyszek Sokolik announces that he has photographed a UFO, he quickly finds himself on television, only to become a laughing stock. However, the story picks up speed. Social tensions rise, and the authorities announce something that sounds like pure Orwell, a fictional utilitarian state of occupation, supposedly in response to the threat from space. What was supposed to be a curiosity becomes a tool of control. The series shows with humor and suspense how thin the line is between belief and paranoia, between propaganda and reality. Project UFO is a retro sci-fi with a sharp claw that says more about ourselves than about aliens. Cassandra. If you think a smart home is the pinnacle of convenience and security, get ready for a terrifying correction. Cassandra is a German science fiction miniseries that slowly but effectively builds an atmosphere of psychological tension. The Prill family moves into a renovated 1970s house, unaware that an ancient artificial intelligence lies dormant within its walls. Cassandra, seemingly kind and helpful, begins step by step to take control of the household's daily life. But her idea of an ideal family is based on outdated patterns that quickly turn comfort into a nightmare. Manipulation, isolation, and subtle forms of violence creep into their relationship, and the line between care and control completely blurs. The series blends a retro vibe with a modern fear of technology, showing how easy it is to surrender one's life to a machine, and how difficult it is to get it back later. Cassandra doesn't scare with screaming, just with cool, unforgiving logic. Murderbot. What would you do if you were a machine designed to kill and suddenly started having an opinion of your own? Murderbot is a new 2025 science fiction series based on Martha Wells's best-selling series that tells the story of a security android that gains consciousness by hacking its software. Though dispassionate and precise on the outside, on the inside he wants only one thing: to have holy peace and quiet and watch his favorite soap operas. Instead, he is forced to protect a group of scientists on a dangerous planet where any decision could cost lives. Murderbot will have to face not only external threats, but also his own emotions, free will, and the question of whether he can be more than a programmed weapon. This is a story about loneliness, identity, and the extraordinary need to be someone, even if you are just a machine. Alien Earth. This time, the alien doesn't lurk in the dark corridors of the ship, but comes down to our planet. Alien. Earth is the latest science fiction series set in the legendary Alien universe, set in the year 22 years before the events of the 8th passenger of the Nostromo. After a mysterious spaceship crash on Earth, a young woman named Wendy and an elite group of soldiers discover the terrifying truth. The xenomorphs are here, and there's nowhere to run. The series brings the iconic horror film from outer space to the reality of our planet, which only adds to the sense of powerlessness and danger. Noah Hawley, the creator of the series, relies on a dense atmosphere, brutal action, and a fresh new approach to a familiar monster. Alien. Earth promises to be a dark and intense tale of survival in a world that is no longer safe. Severance Season 3. What if your memories of your work and private life were completely separated, and you suddenly started getting them back? The 3rd season of Severance returns with even more mystery, suspense, and shocking revelations. Mark, after the previous season's heartbreaking finale, learns that his late wife Gemma isn't gone at all. She's alive and has disturbing ties to the Lumen Corporation. His and Helly's escape from the soulless interiors of the company is just the beginning. Now they can reveal the truth that has been hidden for so long. Meanwhile, Seth Milchick, hitherto unswervingly loyal to the system, begins to ask questions he should never have asked. Season 3 is a dark psychological journey into memory, identity, and boundaries that should never be crossed. Black Mirror Season 7. This series will once again knock you into your seat and make you start looking at technology with an anxiety you haven't felt in a long time. The 7th season of Black Mirror, which debuted on Netflix on April 10th, 2025, features 6 fresh stories that not only shock you with ideas, but also hit you hard emotionally. Charlie Brooker is back in fine style, opting to combine futuristic concepts with complex human relationships. We'll see here, among other things, the dramatic aftermath of an experimental procedure, the disturbing relationship between a digital and a real person, and the long-awaited sequel to the cult episode USS Callister. Artificial intelligence, digital consciousness, memory manipulation, all intertwined with questions about who we are and how far we can go before we lose ourselves. This is Black Mirror at its best, provocative, dark, and painfully topical. El Eternauta. What would you do if ordinary snow turned into a death trap? El Eternauta is an Argentine science fiction series that will debut on Netflix on April 30th, 2025, and is based on the legendary 1957 graphic novel. The story is set in Buenos Aires, where toxic snow suddenly begins to fall. Anyone who steps outside dies in the blink of an eye. The main character, Juan Salvo, along with his family and a handful of survivors, barricades himself inside the house, trying to understand what is happening. It quickly becomes clear that this is not a natural disaster, but part of a larger, sinister plan, the invasion of an alien civilization. The series combines a dark post-apo atmosphere with social drama and survivalist suspense to create an intense story of fear, hope, and the struggle for survival as the world changes beyond recognition. Ironheart. In a world where technology has reached the pinnacle of possibilities and magic is beginning to invade reality, the line between science and the unknown is becoming increasingly blurred. Ironheart is the story of Riri Williams, a young engineer with a brilliant mind who returns to Chicago after the dramatic events of Wakanda. There she builds her own armor, rivaling Tony Stark's technology. But it's not steel armor that will be her biggest challenge. Standing in her way is Parker Robbins, the Hood, an adversary who relies not on science, but on dark magical powers. Riri is drawn into a conflict in which it is not enough to be a brilliant designer. One must understand what it means to be a hero when reality escapes logic. Ironheart is a dynamic blend of action, emotion, and reflection on courage, legacy, and the limits of human potential. That's the end of the list. If something caught your eye, let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more sci-fi content. Another ranking is coming soon.